As South Africa celebrates 30 years of democracy this year, we take a walk down memory lane to reflect on some of the music that has shaped the country's history. Legendary musician Joe Nina joins me in studio. It's been years. I remember donkey years ago, yes. It was Moretele Park, watching you perform that song. And yes. I haven't watched you live since. Where have you been?
I've been around, and greetings to everyone. I've been around. It's just that change has taken place, has taken over, you know. But I've been around. I'm still doing music. I still perform once in a while, and I still do what I love. And I'm here.
It's been quite a journey. Let's start with your name, Joe Nina. How did you become Joe Nina? Because Makosini Kaba is your real name.
If you recall from my biography, I've said this a couple of times already, but I started music early in the 80s. You know, I started going to the record companies with the demo cassettes at the time. And at that time, the record companies mainly had the white producers and composers and sound engineers. And when you say, my name is Makosini Kaba, even if they think your song is nice, they would say, but I cannot pronounce that. It's not going to sell. So I had to come up with different names, pseudonyms, that is. The first one, they called me King Rap. It was the time of rap of MC Hammers and all of that. I was not so okay with it. The second one was called Hot Slot Machine, when they thought I could make money off music just like that. The third one was Salimaya, which was a portion of me because it was derived from loving music of Salif Keita. But finally, I thought to myself, because I used to play a bit of soccer when I was growing up, and my nickname was Joe. I thought I would use that, but I needed a surname. And my favorite, still favorite today, is no other than Nina Simone, the greatest, I call her. She still is. Her music still lives on, you know, it will still live on for years and years to come. So I call myself Joe Nina.
So that name has set well with you. At no point since adopting it have you felt, actually, why didn't I stick to my
real name, Makosini? Yeah, well, lately as I see things turning around and all that, I think, why can't I just call myself Makosini Kaba? But then I'm thinking it's going to be another shift because people have to know who Makosini Kaba is. It will be like starting all over again. But Joe Nina said well, especially because it's been over 30 years, you know, and a lot of people call me Joe Nina. They don't even know that I'm Makosini. Even in the township where I come from or in the townships that I go through, they still call me Mr. Joe Nina, you know, and some of them, when I say, they've got no clue who I'm talking about. So to change the name, yes, it came to mind, but I thought it's going to be a lot of work.
Who were or are, you know, still, continue perhaps, who were your biggest influences, you know, in music?
It's quite a lot. It starts from home. My father, mainly. My mother being the backing vocalist in my father's band. Those are the people that drove me into music. But yes, as I got into the music, I got to learn different things, different styles of music, and I had a choice as well. You know, I could be just a fly-by-night and just sing music that will sell and go by. But I believed in evergreen, and I think I learned that from a lot of people. Like, for instance, Steve Kekana, Dr. Steve Kekana was friends with my father. Propapsim Langen was friends with my father. So they kind of influenced me so much that the tone of my voice as well at the time was starting to sound similar like their voices. But as I was growing, I came across the greatest, Rechi Kapapiri from Stimela. And we became partners, and we started a record label called Killer Joe Records, which I still have to date, and I'm grateful for that. I liked the way that he was approaching music. I liked the messages in the songs, because also at that time, if you recall, we were still recovering from the time of apartheid, coming into the time of democracy. So we had to get music that talks to people, you know, that talks about our situation in the country, and mainly to send the message across, because it was difficult for people to hear what we're saying in the country and try and resolve it from here. So Mr. Rechi Kapapiri was one of them. Pra Jonas Kwanga was the next one. Pra Huma Sikela, and I'm talking of people that I got the chance to work with, like one-on-one. Pra Tsepo Tsula, Baba Winston Mankunku, Pra Victor Ntoni, and working with Brantemi as well, who was part of the African Jazz Pioneers, which was my first big production that I managed to do when I was 19 years old. And ever since, those were the guys that influenced me musically. But when we're talking internationally, Stevie Wonder was the greatest that I loved the most. I mean, I liked his approach to music. Michael Jackson with his style of pop, which was beautiful. But Stevie Wonder took the cup for me, and still to date. And Prince, who was lately called Symbol, they like influenced me a great deal musically, because what I believe they were doing was avant-garde, something unique, something different. And till today, some of the songs might not have been hits then, but they are hits today.
How would you describe both the music you've produced, but also how you think it resonated with people? In other words, when you speak to people,
Yeah.
what is it that they say they particularly love about your music?
That's a nice one. And I think it's very important. I think they liked more than anything, besides the style of music and all of that, they liked more than anything the messages in the music. Because I believe that music was a way of communicating, you know. Sometimes it was a coding way of communicating things to people, you know. Like, for instance, Maria Podesta was the first Pantsula song that became popular when people thought when you're wearing an all-star, you're just but a Pantsula is giving on his sport, you know. So Ding Dong became the first song that everyone started getting romantic and realizing that we can also be romantic in our own language. Lungsha Ding Dong Lomtuan. It became a hit. Till today, it still is. Those are the first thing people that liked that they told me of. When I moved from Kwaito and I started a new genre, which is now today called Afropop, the big song that people liked the most was Domzoto, the one we opened with. A lot of people say, it was a beautiful song. It made their life easy. What do you do? Go into the car and just press play. The song that just does the job for you. And a lot of them said to me, you know what, I'm married today because of this song. And some of them say, you know, my wife is Domzotwa. And every time we had a problem, I would play this song and there'd be peace in the house. Now that made me feel happy and good about what I do in my craft. And then you'd have songs like Sbalau Daily, which I think till today is relevant. You know, the gender-based violence is very rife. It's getting even worse now with the kids being killed everywhere, left, right, and center. All of that, it's to show that music is supposed to talk about situations that sometimes if we listen to it based on that, we will be able to solve the problems that we're facing. Because I believe that in life, we need to look at the problems and find the solution, not to always entertain the problem that we have. You know, like I look at people talking about the problems we're facing as a country. We've been talking about it for years, but we're still having the same problems and not getting resolved, you know. It was scary, the discussion we had earlier on, because I'm trying to be ignorant in some of these things because they can be very hurtful. And when you are hurt as part of the musicians and the writers, you get the mind block. And before you know, it's in Plumelokshin, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm irrelevant to friends because what's wrong? You know what I mean? We need to look at our problems and really, really strive to find a solution.
There's something I want to ask you about you know, growing old,
Yes.
life happening, and all those things. But we're going to take a quick ad break, and we're going to continue this conversation.
Thank you, thank you.
After this short break.
Ding dong. A ding dong. Ding dong. Lumangga nung isa ya ding dong.
so on the Indian side, type of thing, and then we'll see how far we go from there. So the weather side, then Proteas, then we do India.
Where we go back to them.
Even then I'll close it after that. So.
Voyo Makoba and Yolule, good afternoon.
A lot of time. I didn't know that sport.
Good afternoon to you too.
I had to specify.
Welcome back. I'm with legendary musician Joe Nin, who is with me in studio. How time flies when one is having fun. But this is the last thought. You know, life happens. You were talking about life earlier. And people grow old. I can't believe that I've been doing this for 30 years and I'm approaching SASA. But how does it feel to have been, the star, flavor, abantwana bazakuwe, and all of that, and then now you've grown old, and you're not as
as young as I used to be,
as young as you once were.
It's for me personally, I think it's a beautiful feeling, because I'm getting to learn things that I never thought I would learn. I never thought that I would one day in Kalempit and out of the blue. It's funny, but it's also like, wow, it's interesting as we grow. We start to pack up a bit slowly but surely, which means we must take care of ourselves and start to get as healthy as possible. One. Two, it's always beautiful to, because when we were young and growing up, I personally, young growing up, I hardly had time to be able to raise my kids like 100% the way I would have wanted to. Always on the road, always in studio. Yes, I would get time, I would make time, I would pick them up. But now that I'm older, it's easier, I can put it as part of my schedule. Okay, gents, I need to take a break at this point and go pick up my daughter. And then, because she's close by, she's part of, she's my last born. I hope. She's my last born. And I get to spend time, which in a way, I wish that me spending time with her, it's also in my heart to make up for those that didn't be able to spend time with them. Though I still love them, I still like them a lot, But I would have loved to be with them the way I'm with this one, because she's very close by. I get to play around. Sometimes I get him a bit it's funny. But then again, also, musically, when you grow up, you tend to see music differently. Yes, it's about making money. It's very crucial. Life now, it's all about money. Change is about money. But you get to also feel that void of saying, why do people don't love their craft the way they used to, Now I think it's about just hype, what comes and go, come and go. It's so beautiful to have something that it's still a hit today and it still be a hit tomorrow. Yeah. For me, that's beautiful. And I want to capture that as one of those matured whiskey.